I use an unusual system for grading in my courses. It's a version of what's called mastery-based assessment. So in this video, I'm going to explain how that works, and because I think it's often helpful for students to understand why their courses are designed the way they are designed, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I do things this way. So I'll describe two things that I don't love about the way courses are usually graded, and I will explain how we are going to do things differently in this class. So first of all, as an educator, I am not a big fan of letter grades, and there are two main reasons for this. One is that people seem to disagree about what a particular grade means. So traditionally, a C might represent like average performance, and an A represents extraordinary performance or something like that. But oftentimes these days, students kind of expect to get an A if they follow instructions and do everything right, maybe especially honors students, and that's fine. That's what grades mean. I'm not here to fight you on that. But if we adopt that way of thinking, then there's another problem, which is that the scale sort of like tops out at the place where everybody wants to be. There's nothing above an A to encourage or recognize really extraordinary performance if an A is what you get for following instructions and just doing everything that you're asked to do. So the grading system doesn't really encourage or recognize striving, and I think that's too bad. Now, of course, you will get a letter grade at the end of the semester. I have to tell the registrar how you did in terms of like A's and B's and C's and so on. So there will be that. But apart from the end of the semester, there are no letter grades at all in this course. Instead, many of your assignments, most of your assignments, will be graded using what I call a mastery scale. This is a scale from 1 to 5. Let me explain. Generally, the score that you're shooting for is a 3. A 3 is a pass. It means that you followed the instructions, you did everything that I asked for, you demonstrated the skill that I was looking for in this particular assignment. A 3 is good. A 3 is what you want. On many assignments, especially simpler assignments toward the beginning of the semester, it's not possible to do any better than a 3 because the assignments are straightforward, and if you did what I asked, you get the points. So if in the syllabus it says a particular assignment is worth 5 points, if you do the assignment and you get a 3, you get 5 points. If the syllabus says it's worth 10 points, then if you get a 3, you get 10 points. It's that simple. Now, moving down the scale, a 2 or a 2 plus means that you put in a good effort, but you're not quite there. You didn't quite demonstrate the skills that I was looking for. You didn't follow instructions precisely. So a 2 is fine, but it's not a pass. And if you get a 2 on an assignment, you get no points. That may sound scary, but just hang around. It won't sound as scary by the end of the video. At the bottom of the scale, there's 1. So a 1 isn't particularly common. If you get a 1, it generally means that you didn't finish the assignment, or you really didn't follow the instructions at all, or there's evidence of academic dishonesty of some sort. Please make sure you know what plagiarism is. A lot of students think they know what plagiarism is, and they don't. I deal with plagiarism cases every single semester, and almost all of them are unintentional. So there are resources on plagiarism linked to in the description on this video that I encourage you to check out if you haven't yet. Moving up the scale, it is possible on some assignments to do better than a 3, so I assign scores of 4 or 5 for very exceptional work. Now, I know all of you are good students, but you still shouldn't expect to get 4s and 5s all the time. Nobody does. I typically hand out only a couple of 4s across my classes every semester, and some semesters I hand out a 5 or 2. Many semesters, nobody earns a 5. And that's fine. There's just space for striving in the scale. That's how it's designed. If you do get a 4 or a 5 on an assignment, you get bonus points. So I had these two concerns about traditional letter grades, that people disagree about what exactly the particular letters mean, and that there's sort of no room for striving above an A, which is sort of what everybody expects. Mastery scores don't have these problems. People don't disagree about what the mastery scores mean because they just mean what I just told you they mean. And I provide rubrics in the assignment guidelines to sort of sketch out what like 2 performance or 3 performance or 4 performance is for any particular assignment. So you have an idea before you turn in an assignment of what it is I'm looking for when I assign a score to an assignment. And because 4s and 5s are still relatively rare scores, they are meaningful recognitions of striving or extraordinary performance. So that's why I use mastery scores instead of letter grades. So that's the first thing I don't love about traditional grading. The second one is what you might call the problem of unequal preparation. Now, in a traditional course, in a traditional philosophy course anyway, you might write a couple papers and your grade at the end is some sort of weighted average of the grades you got on the papers, maybe along with some other stuff that you did during the semester. But many students aren't familiar with the traditional expectations for academic papers. So this seems kind of like an unfair way to assess students, punishing you in your grade just because you didn't have the right kind of preparation. Another problem is that if you learn a lot during the semester, so maybe you weren't particularly well prepared for the course by your previous coursework, then maybe you don't do so well on the early assignments, but you learn a lot, and by the end of the semester, you're doing really, really great work. But your early assignments still contribute to your final grade. So your grade in the course might not be as good as a student who did very well from the very beginning, even though you're both just as skilled at the end of the course. That doesn't seem totally fair. And this problem is even bigger in honors courses than in other courses because you all come from such a wide variety of majors and backgrounds. I can't assume very much at all about what kind of coursework you've had in the past. So those are some worries. In this course, I've designed a bunch of small assignments that are based around very specific skills, the main sequence assignments or the skill building assignments. Now, these assignments are in many ways the heart of the course because the skills that they're supposed to develop are skills for thinking critically and clearly and reasoning well. I often say that writing is thinking in slow motion. And the idea is that if you practice with these writing assignments, then you will become more skillful at thinking through difficult or abstract topics, and you'll be able to do it more quickly and on the fly. This is sort of wax on, wax off stuff when it comes to thinking. So this is how those assignments work. They're arranged in a sequence. You have to do the first one first and the second one second, and so on. Now, if you get a 3 on one of these assignments, then you pass, and that sort of unlocks the next assignment for you, so you can try the next assignment now. If you get a score less than 3, you don't pass, and you get no points. But that's okay. I said it wasn't going to be scary. That's okay because you can try again. You can try again as many times as you need within, the time that we have in a semester. If you pass an assignment on your second attempt or your third attempt, you get all the points, just like you would have if you had passed on your first attempt, and then you can move on in the sequence. This way, your grade at the end of the semester reflects how far you progressed in the sequence and not how well prepared you were before you started taking this class. It also means that you get to work at your own pace. So if you're a speed demon, you feel like you're well prepared, you can pass, if you want, all of these assignments in the first few weeks of the semester and then kind of take it easy for the rest of the term. Or if you have a lot of work in your other classes during a particular couple of weeks, during midterms or whatever, you can put these assignments sort of on the back burner for a while and come back to them when you feel like you have more time and energy to dedicate to this class. There's also the added benefit that I get to make sure that you have really acquired some competence or mastery of a particular skill before you move on to a more complex assignment. That way, I get to give you a little bit of individual attention and make sure that you are well prepared to move forward in the course when you do. If you like, you can think about the sequence of assignments kind of like a video game. If you demonstrate the skills to pass a level, then you unlock the next level, and you can work on that until you pass and keep progressing. You're honors students, so I feel like you can take some responsibility for managing your own schedule and making smart decisions about how to balance your workload in your different courses. But I also don't want you to feel like you're in this alone. If you feel overwhelmed or you're having difficulty planning and pacing yourself, then you can always come talk to me in office hours. I'm happy to help you think through which assignments you want to complete and when. So that's my mastery-based grading system for this course. If you want to learn more about the specific assignments that are required and the deadlines and due dates and so on, then you can find that information by examining the syllabus, or you can always ask questions, of course, in class or in office hours, and I will be happy to help you out. Good luck.
Good luck.